Hey, this is Russ. Do you remember I told you guys about my problem with my middle finger on my right hand? It's called a trigger finger. Do you remember that? If you didn't see that video, I'll put a link up there so you can see it. But really, the way I thought this all started was from using this thing. Remember this? This sickle, also known as a kama in martial arts. I was cutting down some tall grasses right around my house. I think this was in October, and so holding this thing and swinging this around, it kind of aggravated my hand a little bit. All right, and then the more I thought about it too, I said, it can't be just this. It's got to be something else that caused this trigger finger to happen. And the more I thought about it, I think it was also from playing drums. Now, you might know that I've been doing some music videos, and if you haven't seen those, watch those. I think you might like some of them, okay? There's songs that, as I was growing up, I would say probably the 70s and 80s, those type of songs, 90s maybe even. So watch those things. But, I can't bring and play my drums anymore. I can't, we moved my entire drum set. I'll put a photo of my drum set up here. I moved my entire drum set to San Diego when my wife and I moved to San Diego. But then when we finally moved back 8 years later, we had so much stuff I couldn't bring everything back. So I sold a whole bunch of recording gear, big sound mixers and multi-track recording, open reel recorders, and my 7-piece drum set. I've always kind of regretted selling that thing. But anyways, to do the drums now on my music videos, I actually play the drums on my keyboard. Okay, the keyboard actually has drum sounds, and so every drum sound you hear on the music videos I do is literally played one note at a time. So bass drum, snare drum, bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat, cymbal, tom-toms, okay? And you hit the snare drum and the bass drum probably the most. Now the snare drum, in order to get a good sound, because the keyboard has dynamics to it, you have to hit it hard. I typically use my third finger to do that. So the more I kept thinking about it, I'm hitting this thing, it could have aggravated the finger too, okay? So a trigger finger basically is this. When you're moving your hand, okay, and you're moving your finger, when you get to a certain point, you try to move it back, it kind of pops, okay? You can actually feel it just kind of pop. And usually right around here, if you put pressure there, you can actually feel that pop happening, all right? So I started thinking, what can I do? So I started searching YouTube, and I ran across this one video of this guy using this thing that was kind of massaging the arm and the hand and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought about the other video I made right around that time too, which was the brass knuckle thing. Remember that? It was called a Gua Sha, Guasha. It's a Chinese thing. Hey, I should know about that, right? It's Chinese. But I said, this isn't exactly what this guy's doing, but I wonder if the Gua Sha thing would help. Now, they used that device on me because of my knee replacement, okay? They were massaging around my knee, not onto the incision, using this big metal thing and just kind of scraping that. And I think that's to help break up scar tissue. So I talked to my doctor at my physical, my annual physical, and he said, well, it's kind of like, the trigger finger is kind of like if you had a pulley, okay, and you had a rope around the pulley, okay. When you're pulling the rope, it should smoothly go around the pulley. But what happens is if the rope had a little knot on it, it would hit the edge of the pulley, and then it has to pop to get around that pulley, right? That's kind of what happens with your trigger finger. So he says you need to massage it, massage around here, because you kind of feel it over here. If you massage it, I'll use my left hand, it's easier. If you massage around here, it might actually help break up whatever scar tissues or whatever's holding that back and allow that finger to move. So then I thought about it, and I said, what if I used that Gua Sha thing and did my hand, all right? So I started searching on YouTube, and I noticed that there was this one video where this guy was actually massaging, what it looked like a mallet he was using. He was massaging down here and up around here and all that, and he said that was relieving the trigger finger problems with his patients. So I said, what if I bought a Gua Sha unit and started massaging around here on my hand, okay? So here is what I got. I went on Amazon, bought one of these things. Now, I didn't buy the big one that's typically used for my knee. I bought a smaller one that's actually used more for things like your hand and your neck and your arms and your legs and things. Yeah, this thing's kind of scary looking, huh? Looks like a weapon. Doesn't it look like a weapon? So it's actually they call it medical grade. I don't know what considers something medical grade. Higher quality machining. I don't know. But it's smooth in the sense that it's not sharp edges, but it's enough of an edge that it could actually scrape. Okay, but it doesn't scrape your skin or anything like that. But you can put some pressure on there. And there's a little round ball tip over here. So what I started to do, and I'm doing it on my right hand, okay, but since my mic is in my way, I'll do it on my left. Over here is where I started feeling that when I pulled down, it would pop. I could feel it right here. So I started to do this. I would take this smaller edge here and start scraping over here. And I could feel it as I'm doing it. I can feel like little crackling sounds. I don't know if you hear that. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can. Okay, that's like inside here. It's kind of crackly. So I started massaging that, and then I turned it this way, okay, on the long one, and I could scrape more. So I can get in between fingers with this, and I can use the wider section and scrape more here. So I started doing it actually on my right hand. All right, let's do it on the actual hand. And I was doing it for a while, thinking, well, is this going to help or not help? I figured, here, it's worth trying, right? Because it's on Amazon. If it doesn't work, I guess I could replace it or return it because, you can't damage it. It's metal. But after working this for a while, I started noticing the trigger finger's not doing the trigger fingering. Now, is this going to stay long term? I don't know. I have no idea. But I figured I'd continue to do it to see if it would help. Okay, so over the next several weeks, I'll keep doing this, and I'll give you guys a report, let you know how the trigger finger's going. But at this point, there's no trigger finger happening right now. Now, overnight, okay, I noticed the next morning it was doing it again, okay. So I don't know whether by doing this over and over, if this eventually will stop this trigger finger altogether, or whether this is something I'm going to have to continue doing. But it seems to be helping. Now, I'm not saying this is what you should be doing for sure, okay? I have no medical proof that this works or anything like that, other than the fact that having done this on my own fingers and stuff, I don't have it going on anymore, all right? So use at your own risk. If you have a trigger finger, you want to try one of these things, I'll put the Amazon associate affiliate link in this description. So if you want to get one of these, you'll know exactly which one I bought, okay? And of course, I get a few pennies if you buy it too, but that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm just helping you guys. If you have something like this might help. And other ailments, maybe this would be something worthwhile. But again, I have no medical proof of anything, all right? Use at your own risk, all right? Here's something else I bought too for the trigger finger. I bought one of these things. This is a finger splint, all right? So if you take a look at this thing, it's Velcroed over here, and you just slip this on here. And now it immobilizes the finger. Now, this was kind of important for me at the nighttime, okay? Because I noticed that at night, and I've seen some videos where people were saying that, in the evenings is when they have problems, when they get up in the morning. If you immobilize the finger, then it doesn't stay stuck. Because usually if I don't do that in the evening, when I wake up, my finger's not straight. It'll be kind of like this. And it'll take a while for me to actually work it through till I finally get it straightened up again. So I go to bed with something that stops my finger. Now, before I bought this, okay, I think this was like $8. This Gua Sha thing was, I think, like $18, something like that, $17.97 or 98 or whatever it is, $17.99. So before I bought this thing, I think this was $7.99. I fashioned something out of this little tube. All right, put some duct tape on it. It's kind of a rolling tube. And I just put this on, which of course is the exact same thing. So the only reason I wanted one of these is because this looks better out in public. All right, this looks kind of stupid, right? But it works perfectly fine, and I've been using this to go to bed, and then when I wake up in the morning, I don't have that problem. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to share those things with you, and I'll update you guys too to tell you how this Gua Sha thing actually has been working over the weeks. Okay. And if my trigger finger finally goes away, that would be really good. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is what I'm doing, and if this helps you, share it with somebody else if you know they have a trigger finger problem. Okay. Anyways, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all those buttons, and I will talk to you guys next time.